Well, I love my wife. She's incredible.
Yeah.
A great mother.
Yeah.
The kids are healthy and happy, and of course, there's nothing more than that.
It's the second day of the federal trial for Sean Diddy Combs. Cassie Ventura, Combs' ex-girlfriend, is one of the many people accusing him and is serving as a key witness. Está lista? Completely prepared and self-assured. You're welcome. The singer is expected to talk about the 2016 video where Combs attacked her in a hotel while she was his girlfriend. They referred to him as a music mogul, a kingmaker, and the ultimate success story in hip-hop. But yesterday, when Cassie Ventura testified in court, that carefully built image fell apart in front of us. Diddy's face went pale as his ex-girlfriend recounted events that were so shocking that even experienced courtroom reporters were left without words. The man who used to have power over an empire couldn't manage his reactions when Cassie disclosed everything, and we mean everything, about what supposedly happened behind closed doors. When Rachel walked in, she was wearing a brown, tight-fitting dress and was clearly pregnant. She held her head high and did not look at the defendant, Sean Combs. He said that Sean Combs controlled everything, from her outfit to the lighting in the room and even how she was meant to behave with the person she was having sex with. To clarify what a freak-off is, it was basically an event that, Cassie said she found out about it from Sean Combs about a year after they started dating. He called it voyeurism, wanting to see her have sex with someone else. She explained that she did it because she was young at 21 or 22, didn't know better, and wanted to make Sean Combs happy. The singer is expected to talk about the 2016 video where Combs attacked her in a hotel while they were dating. Combs has pleaded not guilty. His lawyers say the video shows jealousy, not sex trafficking. For the first time, jurors are listening to Cassie's thoughts about their 10-year relationship. For many years, Sean Diddy Combs moved through the music industry as if he owned it, because he really did. The man started Bad Boy Records from scratch, made artists into big stars, and created a brand that grew beyond music into fashion, vodka, and media. On paper, Diddy was the biggest success story, the man who taught everyone how to make big money from hip-hop. But that perfect image, that well-created persona of a business genius, mentor, and music visionary, was hiding something much darker, if you believe what is being revealed in court right now. While magazines featured him for his business successes, while fans applauded his performances, and while everyone admired his perfect smile on the red carpet, Cassie Ventura was said to be living a very different reality. The difference was surprising to everyone in the courtroom yesterday. This is a man who shows himself as the top professional in public, tailored suits, good grooming, and always knowing what to say in interviews. But what about the accusations? They show a different side of themselves when no one else is around. Someone unknown to fans who only saw his public persona. Court reporters recorded how he showed up for day 2, looking just like the billionaire tycoon we all know. He walked in with his expensive team of lawyers, confidently nodding at people in the courtroom and even smiling now and then. The man appeared to be going to a business meeting, rather than dealing with serious accusations from his ex-girlfriend. Que confianza. No duró mucho. Several witnesses stated that Diddy's behavior changed completely within the first 30 minutes of Cassie's testimony. The confidence vanished. The confidence disappeared. The calm business facade began to show signs of breaking. When Cassie started talking about specific moments from their relationship, Diddy's legal team quickly raised objections, trying hard to interrupt her. Can you picture this? The man who created a billion-dollar business, managed many artists' careers, and made huge business deals, suddenly couldn't manage his own reactions in a courtroom. Witnesses said that Diddy was restless while Cassie was talking. The power balance had completely changed. When Cassie got on the stand, everyone in the courtroom focused their attention on Diddy. His face supposedly lost all its color, as if someone had pulled a plug. He began to play with his tie, then his cufflinks, and finally just his hands. At one moment, people watching the court saw him quickly writing notes and giving them to his lawyers. The notes came in so quickly that one of his lawyers had to raise a hand to make him slow down. One court reporter said it was like seeing someone understand for the first time that they have lost control of the story. Someone else who was there said that Diddy appeared to be unwell while Cassie calmly talked about their relationship. A third witness said they saw Diddy close his eyes multiple times, as if he couldn't stand to see Cassie or listen to her. Y esto fue solo el comienzo. As Cassie's testimony went on through the afternoon, the courtroom would soon find out why Diddy was losing his temper. The specific claim she was about to make would shock the whole music industry, and could ruin the legacy Diddy had built over many years. The man who always controlled the story was about to encounter a version he couldn't change or create, and I truly loved him. This also refers to the psychological abuse, along with the physical abuse that she may have gone through. Yes, she is definitely talking about a young person who was motivated by the desire to have a successful music career. She signed a 10-album contract with Bad Boy Entertainment, run by Sean Combs. She talks about how she was in love with Sean Combs, her feelings for him, and how he taught her about different sexual things that she didn't know about. What you hear is someone who was young and said, and she even mentioned, "I was young, I was naive, I didn't know any better." But she is really sharing the story of someone who believed she would be with someone in the music industry who would help her career and care about her. However, she soon discovered, after the breakups, that this was not true. I found it interesting when she said that after that first weird experience, she felt dirty. Ella no quería hacerlo. When she mentioned having a discussion about the freak-offs in an email that the jurors read, she stated that she changed her mind in the email because Combs replied, "I know you don't want to do it." Y ella dijo, "Oh no, pues no es eso, pero eso fue solo el comienzo." In 2010, she mentioned in an email that she wanted to talk about this. In her words, she didn't want to do it, but she felt she had to. Well, Diane, prosecutors have quickly started addressing the alleged abuse that Cassie Ventura claims she suffered for years. Ventura told the jurors, quote, "He would hit my head, knock me down, drag me, kick me, and strike me in the head when I was on the ground." She also talked about the nature of these so-called freak-offs, explaining that they involved hiring an escort who performed under Combs' direction. She mentioned that these events happened so often that it eventually became her job to organize them. Ventura said she felt she had no choice but to join in, because she was afraid Combs would get back at her, or possibly blackmail her if she didn't. At times she has had to take deep breaths while pausing her testimony. Combs seems to be listening quietly with his hands in his lap at the defense table. When Cassie Ventura testified, it was so quiet in that courtroom, you could hear a pin drop. Everyone knew this moment would happen, but no one, not even Diddy's legal team, was really prepared for what she was about to say. After years of keeping quiet and holding back her stories, Cassie finally had a chance to speak, and she took it. Ella comenzó pequeño. That's what made it very effective. Cassie started by explaining how she met Diddy when she was only 19. He was already a big name in the music industry, a millionaire multiple times with contacts everywhere. She was a young model who wanted to have a music career. The power gap was huge right from the start. Cassie said that Diddy knew exactly how to use that power. Her testimony developed gradually, like a horror movie where you know something bad is about to happen but can't stop watching. First there were the smaller control issues, like how he supposedly wanted to know where she was all the time, and would show up unexpectedly if she was out with friends. Después vino el control de la carrera. She says he would threaten to stop her music from being released if she didn't meet his demands. How he supposedly sabotaged partnerships with other artists when he felt threatened. What's the most surprising part? Court transcripts reveal that Cassie explained how Diddy supposedly put tracking software on her phone. She said that he would sometimes call her just minutes after she got to a place, knowing exactly where she was. She said he slowly isolated her from friends, who could suggest she should leave him. One by one, the people who supported her reportedly vanished until Diddy was the only one left. The judge had to ask for quiet 3 times during this part of the testimony. Diddy seemed to lose control. He was shaking his head, talking loudly to his lawyers, and making faces that the jury could easily see. Cada vez que el juez la advertía, él se calmaba durante 5 minutos, antes de comenzar de nuevo. It was like seeing someone who has always gotten their way suddenly understand that they can't control what happens. Then came the moment that changed everything. Cassie took out her phone and gave it to her lawyer. They displayed text messages and emails on a screen for everyone in the court to see. How did Diddy look? Completely shocked. He obviously didn't know she had saved these messages all this time. Messages where he reportedly said sorry for his violent outbursts. Messages in which he allegedly threatened her job if she revealed what happened. Messages that directly went against what his PR team had been saying for years. Pero esos mensajes fueron solo el comienzo. While Cassie was still testifying, she started talking about physical attacks that supposedly happened during their relationship. The courtroom became completely quiet as she described being pushed against the walls during fights. She talked about an event where she says he shoved her down a set of stairs at a rented house in Miami. Most worrying of all, she said that there were several times when he supposedly choked her until she almost lost consciousness, only stopping when she went limp. Many jurors showed clear reactions to these claims. An older woman on the jury was seen drying her tears. A male juror struggled to make eye contact with Diddy after hearing some of the more graphic details. The most experienced reporters in that courtroom said they were not ready for how detailed Cassie's testimony was. All of this was building up to the hotel incident that would reveal the truth about the case. Cassie's connection with Diddy. We've seen some of these details in earlier lawsuits, but hearing her share those details in court and reliving those moments herself is different. Also keep in mind that she is very pregnant at the moment. I'm really interested to see how long she can stay on the stand, and how well she handles all these questions emotionally. What will be interesting to see is that the defense started off their opening statement by saying that she chose to be there. I'm interested to see how she answers questions about whether this was her choice, or if she felt like she had to do all these things. I believe Cassie got emotional because she had to explain what happened during the freak-off and her reasons for doing it. She started to cry when she mentioned wanting to do it to make Sean Combs happy. Until then, she had only been responding to the questions. Sometimes she speaks softly, but that's because she feels emotional. She started to cry when she had to answer whether she enjoyed it, saying, "I enjoyed being with Sean Combs. Ya ella dice, lo hice porque la hacía feliz." What do the jurors' expressions look like? The jurors are paying close attention to what Cassie says. That makes sense, doesn't it? According to lawyers, she will probably be the one testifying for 2 or 3 days. She was in a relationship with Sean Combs for more than 10 years. She has a lot to share, and she's just beginning. How important is Cassie's testimony for the prosecution? Creo que realmente un las ideas, Rachel. When you examine the original indictment, and the claims being made, she is likely the one with the most knowledge about what the prosecution is suggesting, specifically that there is a criminal organization linked to Sean Combs' sexual needs. Today the jurors saw something else that links to the alleged criminal activity. 7 photos of people who were very close to Sean Combs, including one of his former chief of staff. Cassie Ventura was able to name and describe the roles of several people, including a security driver, a chief of staff, and someone who managed finances. It shows that she knew some of these people because she spent a lot of time with him. "I thought I was going to die that night," Cassie said, her voice almost a whisper as the courtroom listened closely to every word. She was talking about an event at the Four Seasons Hotel that no one, neither the press, the fans, nor the gossip blogs, had ever heard of before. This hotel incident had been kept hidden for years. Cassie shared that she kept it a secret because she was afraid. She was scared for her job, scared for her safety, and scared that no one would believe her against someone as influential as Diddy. But now sitting in that witness chair, she was being completely open. Cassie said that what began as a regular industry after-party became a nightmare. She said that Diddy got angry when he saw her talking to another music executive. She talked about how his smile vanished, how he held her arm tightly enough to leave bruises, and how he whispered threats in her ear while still acting normal in front of others at the event. What's the most surprising part? Cassie said in court that Diddy physically pulled her through the hotel lobby to the elevators. She said she was crying and trying to get away, causing enough of a scene that hotel security came over to them. But the security guard stepped back when he saw that it was Diddy. He simply asked if everything was fine. "It seems like your message is incomplete. Please provide the full text or more context so I can help you with paraphrasing it." Combs said yes, and then walked away. "Él ni siquiera me preguntó si estaba bien." Cassie gave her testimony. Then the pictures appeared. Cassie's lawyer showed a set of pictures she had taken of herself the morning after the incident. Bruises on her arms, a cut on her lip, and redness on her neck. These were not professional photos.
They were shaky and clearly taken in a bathroom mirror, which made them even more unsettling. Cassie said she took them because she was scared that no one would believe her without them. Diddy's lawyers quickly worked to prevent these photos from being shown to the jury. They claimed the photos weren't properly verified, that they could be from any source, and that they should have been provided during the discovery phase. The judge rejected all objections, and the photos were shown on the screens in the courtroom. The jury's response showed it all. One female juror covered her mouth in surprise. Two male jurors couldn't bear to look at the images, and turned their heads away. A juror in the back row was noticed writing quickly in her notebook, her hand trembling. This hotel incident was the huge surprise that no one expected. It hadn't been mentioned in earlier statements or documents. Diddy's team wasn't ready with a response because they weren't expecting it. It was clear to everyone in the courtroom that his lawyer was panicking. Cassie said that Diddy supposedly threw a champagne bottle at her head, just missing her and breaking against the wall. She said that he damaged the hotel room in anger, breaking a lamp, turning over a table, and punching a hole in the bathroom door. The most troubling part is that she said he kept her in the room for more than 48 hours, took her phone, and warned her not to call for help. When this part of the testimony was over, everyone in the courtroom looked at Diddy. His reaction would become the key moment that defined the whole trial, and maybe the rest of his career. Esto no era chantage. This was not pressure, this was agreed upon by both parties. Cassie began her career with Sean Combs, who was helping her get started in the industry. That's what the defense will argue, that she was just beginning, and needed someone to support her. They made their first record deal together. I believe the defense will pay a lot of attention to that. If it weren't for Sean Combs, she wouldn't be in her current position. The prosecution is clearly stating he was in control and that it might have begun as consensual. She might have been excited to see him at first, but in the end he took charge of the relationship. He took charge of her career. This is their main witness, and she is on the stand trying to explain all the charges that the prosecution wants to make clear to the jury. No, there was a moment at the beginning, when Cassie talked about Dallas Austin, whom she referred to as a friend who is a producer. I'm not sure if that's someone we'll hear from. There were pictures shown to potential jurors of famous celebrities like Kanye West, Kid Cudi, and Lauren London. We don't know how they relate to why they were asked. Do you know these people? Are you familiar with them? The prosecution is currently questioning Cassie. The defense hasn't had a chance to ask her anything yet, but that might change depending on how long this takes. Since she is such an important witness, it's likely she will be on the stand for the rest of the day. We learned that Cassie called him Pop Pop, and Sean Combs called her CC. The prosecution asks, what does CC mean? Elos dijeron, Elo dijo Cassie Combs. What type of witness is Cassie appearing to the jurors? When people see her, they can tell that she is pregnant, and looks like she could give birth any day now. They could feel empathy, or sympathy for her, but we can't be sure. We know that they have been told to be fair and unbiased. Regarding the type of witness she seems to be, she's talking about someone she used to be, someone who was trying to understand her identity at that time, and who she was permitted to be. Now you're looking at someone who's nearly 40 years old, a completely different person. But even when talking about what was happening in her life back then, she was using drugs and trying to make Sean Combs happy. She's basically explaining that she doesn't have much control over the situation. I think that's the main point. This is someone who is clearly stating that during that time in her life, she felt she had no control over what she wore, what she did, or who she was having sex with. Ahora es una persona diferente. I believe that when she discusses those details, and even thinks about them for herself, like we saw today, she became emotional in the courtroom. It was a moment that everyone in that courtroom will always remember. Diddy, a man known for staying calm under pressure, completely lost his cool in front of everyone. The wall cracked and then broke apart, revealing an unpleasant sight underneath. You have to realize that this is a person who spent many years shaping how others see him. He's the charming businessman, the calm and collected leader, the man who never shows that he's stressed. But as Cassie's testimony became more damaging, that carefully crafted facade began to break. Court reporters who have covered many celebrity cases said they had never seen anything like this. Diddy changed right before their eyes, going from the confident leader in the morning to a man who seemed trapped and desperate by the afternoon. With every new claim Cassie made, he looked like he was getting smaller in his chair. His legal team was putting in extra hours. I heard from a person who was sitting right behind them that Diddy's main lawyer kept placing his hand on Diddy's arm to try to calm him down. At one moment, one of the lawyers gave him a note that said calm in all capital letters, but it didn't help. Things became really tense when Diddy slammed his hand on the table, while Cassie talked about something that happened at his Hampton house. He hit it so hard that the sound bounced off the walls of the courtroom. The judge quickly halted the court session and warned him, "Mr. Combs, if you can't control yourself, I will have you taken out of this courtroom." For a moment, it seemed like he could really be removed from his own trial. During Cassie's testimony, witnesses observed Diddy repeatedly shaking his head and saying with his lips, "That's not true." Whenever she talked about something very harmful, it seemed like he forgot that a jury was watching his every move. One observer in the courtroom said it seemed like a man who had never been confronted before, suddenly understanding that he couldn't control the story. The change in power in that room was amazing. Throughout their relationship, Diddy reportedly managed every aspect of Cassie's life. Now she was sharing her truth, and he couldn't stop her. No pudo apagar su microfono. He was unable to get security to remove her. He couldn't get his PR team to handle it. El solo tuvo que quedarse allí, o aceptar la situación. The main turning point happened when Cassie began discussing threats. She said that Diddy had supposedly threatened her family if she ever talked about what happened between them. And then came the surprise that nobody expected. She had recordings, real audio recordings of his voice, making these threats that her lawyer played for the court. That's when Diddy really lost control. He jumped up from his chair and yelled at Cassie, "You know that's not how it happened." His legal team physically held him in an effort to pull him back into his seat. 3 of his lawyers had to hold him back, while he kept trying to talk over the recording that was playing in the courtroom. The judge quickly paused the session, but the harm was already caused. Todos lo vieron. The jury, the reporters, the court officials, and the man who claimed to be untouchable, had just revealed how vulnerable he truly was. When they brought Diddy out for the break, he seemed like a totally different person from the one who had come in that morning. The mask was gone, and what was beneath it was not nice. Just when everyone thought they knew everything, the real surprise came. Cassie had proof that surprised everyone, including the judge, the jury, and especially Diddy. For years, she had been quietly gathering evidence of what she said occurred during their relationship. Text messages, emails, and photos were all saved in various locations where Diddy was unable to find or delete them. The courtroom fell silent when Cassie said she had text messages from other celebrities who had seen Diddy's behavior themselves. These weren't just random people from the industry either. Court transcripts reveal that these individuals were among Diddy's closest friends and business partners. They had been in his inner circle for many years, and had witnessed events at private parties and behind the scenes that the public was unaware of. Diddy's expression revealed everything. A person in the audience said he seemed physically sick when Cassie talked about these celebrity witnesses. His legal team quickly stood up, raised objections, and asked to speak privately with the judge. They claimed these messages shouldn't count as evidence because they were hearsay and weren't submitted correctly during discovery. The judge wasn't accepting it. After looking over the messages in private, he came back to the courtroom and dismissed all objections, stating that the messages were very important to the case and permitted them to be included as evidence. That choice made Diddy bury his face in his hands. Él sabía lo que venía. One by one, messages from well-known people showed up on the screens in the courtroom. A well-known rapper sent a message to Cassie after a Grammy after party. "Are you alright? Lo que vi esta noche no estaba bien. If you need to, you can stay at my house." A female pop star said, "I've known him for 15 years, and I've never seen him act like that with anyone else. Esto no es normal. Por favor, llámame." The messages that caused the most harm came from a producer who had been working with Diddy for many years. He sent a message to Cassie after seeing something happen at a studio. "No puedo estar cerca de esto más. Le dije que pidiera ayuda. Llama cuando estés a salvo." These messages were completely different from what Diddy had been saying in public. No one had ever seen any inappropriate behavior. These were personal issues that Cassie was distorting. Now the court could see that people had seen what happened, were worried, and had tried to help her. Then Diddy sent his own messages. Screenshots displayed messages where he seemed to recognize incidents. Lo siento por enoque. You know how I act when I drink. No pasará de nuevo. Another text from him said, whatever you need to make this right, just name it. Nuevo coche. Nuevo apartamento. Lo que quieras. A third set of messages suggested efforts to hush up incidents using money offers. My lawyer can prepare the documents tomorrow. 2 million. Clean break. You haven't mentioned anything from the last 5 years. When these messages were read out loud, something intriguing occurred in the gallery. Several people who came with Diddy that morning, part of his group and sitting behind him for support, quietly stood up and left the courtroom. They left one by one, unable to stay there as more proof appeared. By the end of this part of the testimony, Diddy was nearly alone at his table. Just him and his lawyers. The support he had when he arrived that morning was gone. The unexpected evidence changed everything. As day 2 came to an end, the man who entered the court as the untouchable king of music left feeling defeated. The security team by his side couldn't keep him safe from what just occurred in that courtroom. The empire he spent years creating might be falling apart right now. Cassie Ventura shared her story today. She may have changed Diddy's whole legacy. The evidence, the testimonies, and the recordings created a clear image that no one can forget. The question is no longer if Diddy can win this case. It's about whether his reputation can bounce back from what the world heard in that courtroom today.